Hi, I'm Jessica Cuello, and I'm reading as part of Writers and Books Literary Partner Series Quarantine Edition. And this video is made by my daughter, Carolina. I'm going to start with poems from my book, Hunt, which is a series of poems based on Moby Dick from the perspective of the absent feminine. And each poem corresponds to a chapter. The whale imagines Ahab charting a path. Chapter 44. A graphite line runs through his skull and teeth. His eye is pasted to my neck. My mottled body in his head, my forehead white beneath the dusk. I always wanted a picture of myself, a pulse, a tethered eye. I always wanted a man who knew my mind. Too bad the graphite digs too hard a path, and nothing's behind the teeth but teeth. Brit, Chapter 58. He thought the sea was his to disturb and disturb. My whale mouth swam open, naked through vast yellow fields. My appetite made swaths of blue. In my cannibal sea, we eat our own and we get eaten. I thought, reaching for one another, we reached the same land, water aside, waves trembling. I thought rest and devour, quiet as rocks. I thought how sad men were, stepping with legs into their pants. I thought how sad men were, vulnerable in their heads, amassing what they couldn't eat. The right whale's head speaks, Chapter 75. O captor, my captor, I'm fastened to the boat, and hands dive in my satin mouth. The cutting in, I am two parts. My body over there, my head a sulking sphinx, a shoe shape and obedient. Pour me out to light to burn, to flicker in a human eye. Animal blink, the quiet code. I give the riddled answer of a thing. The wind vibrates the blinds that line my mouth. 100 bones with fringe and useless now. The Fountain, How the Whale Hides, Chapter 85. For an hour or more without drawing a breath. For an hour or more below the surface, a waiting black spot in thick water, a mammal. Breathe only in the Arctic. Breathe only when the light is gone. Breathe only when his face recedes, his ship backtracks its invisible line. If you don't breathe, you can't be found. If you don't breathe, you won't feel. If you don't breathe, the hand passes, the skin stays clean, not pierced. If you don't breathe, the remora keeps swimming, the harpoon rests, the rope stays coiled. If you don't breathe, no fountain, no spray, no vapor, no there she blows, no stinging. Once I approached, once curious, once open like a lily, once before you ruined everything. We're all tired of your marauding. Ambergris, Chapter 92. Ambergris is the substance that forms in the whale's belly, and it was valuable as a perfume. His desire pins a strange eye, takes measure of my inside. I am oblivious to this resin, to this mine, a perfume, hardened in my bowels, to take when I am dead, to take secretions of the throat. My guts are lined with spine and beak. Labor makes it sweet. I can't see the hole he sees. He's seen the veins, the skin, the gray. Does he grope for this rock that I carry like an organ, an afterthought that I do not even carry? The Chase, First Day, Chapter 133. The word brother is not his word. It's me versus them. Alone too young, he set out to find a flesh to press into his flesh. Went straight for a lover, direct, tongue for tongue, and eyes for her. But everyone turns enemy. Crew is utilitarian. Even her single hair on his tongue, her naked skin tastes hostile. Still, in his first migration, he glanced behind for brother eyes, for a godhead figure he resembled. Starbuck's wife suddenly awake. Chapter 134. Waking from a dream, I went into the boys' room, touched my belly, touched my teeth still in my mouth, your face in my face, your blue eyes, you said. And I lay down. I didn't want to get up. The boy clung to my calf like a sessile barnacle, because that was all I had, the boy, holy ground, and nothing has changed. And you had hands once. We had a bed. Now you're a ghost, Daddy, Daddy of the sea, my dream. I barely wished for this, to know, to make an end, to iron a seam and be wonderless. I had to kill hope. So now I'm going to read two newish poems. The Checker. 30 years before he shot you, a checker attached to the roof of your mouth, and my mother walked 2 blocks to keep you from choking on the tiny checker. With one finger on the checker, my mother walked 2 blocks until we reached my grandmother. With a finger on the checker, one hand held your head up until we reached my grandmother, who dislodged it with her fingernail. One hand held your small head up. The magnetic checker suctioned the pink skin. She dislodged the circle so you would not choke but live. The checker suctioned the pink skin. Little home of mouth and the giant home of hell. You would not choke that day, but he shot himself and you, little home of mouth. A nurse held you in this world, and he died first. And you lived a little while. A nurse held you in this world. He died first, and you stayed alive a little while. Then you went down after him. He died first, and you stayed alive a little while, and I cannot go with you after him, where the suitors gather. Alive a little while I cannot go, where all the men gather, where the suitors gather, who blame Penelope for their own slaughter, where the men gather, I cannot go there. We saved you from a checker, all the women, 30 years before he shot you. My babysitter Karen B., who was sent to Willard Asylum. There are only 2 photos of me as a child. She took them. She had no child. She had cool cigarettes and a job at the drugstore. She gave me the Crayola box with the built-in sharpener. 400 suitcases were stored in the attic of Willard Asylum for the chronic insane. She joined her twin brother there. She wore her black hair down. A child could admire it. She bought me an Easter basket, a stuffed rabbit whose fur rubbed off. She walked everywhere. She painted circles of blush on her cheeks. Loony, people said so. I mean grown-ups who saw signs, who passed her on our street before she started to call and say, remember. On the phone she said, remember. Remember the date we killed her brother, forgetting he'd been committed. I took her hand and tagged along like an animal. She was perfect to a child. In 1995, when the asylum closed, An artist took photos of the 400 suitcases. The photos were put online, the contents laid out respectfully. In the open suitcases, belts, pocket knives, Lone Ranger cards, keys, ribbons, shoe polish, mirrors, pills, a fountain pen, bottle of glycerin, a zither, kit of needles, bread ration card, the Gospel of John, a letter. Each suitcase had a name: Lena C., Lillian L., Mary T., Gloria P., Cassie M., Francis T., Marion R., Catherine S., Dimitri Z., Ruby C., Anthony C., FJL, Viola G., Alice T., Carrie L., Karen B., remember.